Hey there, ready to really crack the code of embedded systems design interviews?
We're diving deep into RoleCatcher's guides today
These guys are going to be your secret weapon
to impress those hiring
and
managers.
land that, dream job.
We'll unpack all those must-have skills.
And more importantly, how to, really showcase them
Think of this as your practice run.
before the big game.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's jump right in, shall we?
Let's do it.
The first question that RoleCatcher highlights in this guide is like such a classic.
Oh, yeah.
What's your experience with programming languages used in embedded systems?
Right.
It seems, I don't know, kind of simple on the surface.
Yeah.
But I bet there's a right and a wrong way to answer this one.
Absolutely. A lot of people, they just think, oh, I'll rattle off
Yeah.
C++, Python, maybe, throw in some assembly for good measure.
Yeah.
And that'll be it.
I'm done.
But it's really about connecting the dots for them. RoleCatcher really emphasizes talking about projects
Makes sense.
where you USD these languages
Okay.
to solve real-world problems.
So instead of just saying, I know C++A,
Right.
you'd say something like, well, I was working on this project.
Yeah.
It was to optimize a heart rate sensor's power consumption.
Okay.
And my deep knowledge of C++ allowed me to reduce power usage by 15%.
Exactly. You got to paint a picture for them.
Yeah.
Suddenly, you're not just a list of skills on a page.
Right.
You're a problem solver.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to make you memorable.
That's huge. I'm already seeing how this is different from just reading a typical interview prep book.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question, and this one feels huge, EE.
Okay.
How do you ensure the security of embedded systems?
Right.
I feel like every single connected device
Oh, I know.
these days is like a potential target.
You're not wrong. Security is paramount, right? And RoleCatcher highlights how it's not enough to just know the industry standards.
Like what? Give me some examples.
So we're talking about encryption methods or secure boot processes.
Right.
You need to show them you have a proactive mindset.
So don't just say, I'd use encryption.
No. Go deeper.
Right.
Talk about a time you identified a potential vulnerability, even if it wasn't, explicitly your task.
I see.
Explain your thought process.
Yeah.
How you weighed different security measures.
So they want to see you're already thinking ahead.
They want to see you're thinking ahead, not just reacting to problems when they come up.
That's such a good point. Okay, question 3. What is your experience with debugging and troubleshooting embedded systems?
Right.
This feels like one of those skills that you either have
You either have it or you don't.
or you really don't.
Right.
From those late nights staring at lines of code.
Oh, tell me about it. Debugging, that's where your problem-solving skills really shine. But don't just say, I'm good at debugging.
Right.
Walk them through your process.
Okay, so it's like my first instinct is to isolate the issue by.
Yes.
And then you explain your go-to techniques.
Precisely. And don't be afraid to get specific here.
Okay.
Mention the tools that you use,
Okay.
whether it's a logic analyzer or a particular debugging technique.
I see.
And if you've got a particularly challenging bug that you conquered,
Oh, yeah.
that's a story worth telling.
It's like being a detective, but in the digital world.
That's a great way to put it.
This is making me realize how much storytelling matters in these interviews.
It does. Think of it like this. Facts tell, stories sell.
Ooh. I like that.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna steal that one.
Go for it. Okay, moving on to question 4. This one's super relevant. How do you optimize the performance of embedded systems?
Okay.
I imagine this is all about working with limited resources
Yeah.
and making every single line of code count.
It sounds like it. So this is where a deep understanding of embedded systems principles comes into play.
Absolutely. RoleCatcher points out that you should be prepared to discuss techniques like code optimization,
Right.
efficient memory management,
Uh-huh.
making the most of hardware peripherals. But again, don't just list them.
Okay.
Have those concrete examples ready.
So instead of saying, I know about memory management, I'd say something like, in a previous project, I was able to reduce the RAM usage by 15% by implementing.
Now you're talking. That's music to an interviewer's ears.
Okay.
You're demonstrating not just knowledge, but the ability to actually apply it effectively.
This is gold. Okay. Question 5 is a big one. What is your experience with real-time operating systems?
RTOs.
RTOS.
Yeah.
Now, this might sound kind of intimidating to someone just starting out,
Sure.
but from what I understand, it's a pretty crucial part of many embedded systems.
It's true. It's fundamental in this field. But don't panic if you don't have years of experience. What matters is showing a solid understanding of those core concepts.
Okay, and what are those?
So RoleCatcher stresses focusing on those real-time constraints,
Okay,
task scheduling,
makes sense.
resource management. Those are the big ones.
So even if you haven't worked with, like, a specific RTOS in a professional setting, you could still impress by discussing how you'd approach those challenges, just theoretically.
Absolutely. You could even mention any personal projects or coursework where you've explored those concepts.
Okay,
Show them you're eager to learn and adapt,
gotcha.
and that you understand the underlying principles.
That's really reassuring, especially for those who might feel intimidated by that RTOS question.
Yeah.
Okay, so question 6 kind of delves into a specific skill set.
Yeah.
What is your experience with communication protocols commonly used in embedded systems?
Right.
Now we're talking about the language these systems use to actually, like, talk to each other.
Exactly. This is where you'd showcase your understanding of protocols like UART, SPI, I2C, the unsung heroes of the embedded world.
And just like with the programming languages,
Yeah.
it's all about showcasing your experience, right?
Right. Don't just name drop protocol.
And all of them.
I've used them all.
Yeah.
No. RoleCatcher suggests you dive into a project where you successfully implemented one.
Okay.
Did you face any challenges with signal integrity?
Right.
How'd you ensure reliable communication, especially in a noisy environment?
Yeah.
Those are the details that make your experience come alive,
Okay. That's good. Okay, I think I'm getting the hang of this. It's all about, like, showing, not just telling, right?
That's the key.
So question number 7, here we go. What is your experience with low-level hardware interfacing in embedded systems?
Okay.
This sounds like we're getting into the guts of how these systems interact with, the physical world around them.
Exactly. This is where your knowledge of registers
Right.
interrupts.
Yeah.
And maybe even a bit of bit banging,
Right.
comes in hand.
So RoleCatcher advises here to be ready to discuss how you've actually worked with components like GPIOs,
Right.
timers, ADCs, that sort of thing.
Yeah, those are the building blocks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, if I'm interviewing for a company that makes, say, smart thermostats,
Okay.
I should be ready to talk about, like, how I've interfaced with temperature sensors before.
Precisely. The more you can tailor your answers
Yeah.
to the specific role and company, the better.
That makes sense.
They want to know you've thought about their challenge.
Right. Not just any challenge, but, like, their specific ones.
Exactly.
That's good. Okay, shifting gears a bit. Question 8 focuses on formal verification techniques in embedded systems.
Okay.
Now, this is one area where I'm honestly a little fuzzy.
Sure.
Like, what does that even mean?
So think of formal verification as a way to mathematically prove
Okay.
that your code does what it's supposed to do,
Right.
especially in those safety-critical applications.
Right, where it really matters.
It's becoming increasingly important.
So if I'm interviewing for a company that, let's say, develops, medical devices
Yeah.
or aerospace systems, like, this is a topic that I should probably brush up on.
Absolutely. Even if your experience with formal verification is limited,
Right.
being able to articulate its importance and your willingness to learn goes a long way.
Okay, that's good to know. On to question 9. What is your experience with power management techniques in embedded systems?
Right.
Now, this seems particularly relevant for, like, battery-powered devices, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Whether you're designing, a wearable fitness tracker
Right.
or an IoT sensor, power consumption is huge.
Yeah, for sure.
RoleCatcher highlights techniques like sleep modes,
Okay.
dynamic voltage scaling, and really understanding those power profiles of different components.
So it's not just about writing, like, efficient code. It's about designing the entire system with power awareness in mind from the start.
Exactly. You might even talk about a project where you had to meet these really strict power budgets.
Right.
That always impresses.
I bet it does. Okay, now, this is the final question RoleCatcher emphasizes. How do you stay updated on the latest trends and advancements in embedded systems?
Good one.
Because this field moves so fast, it must be, like, really tough to keep up.
It is. It's constantly evolving. This is your chance to show that you're passionate about continuous learning.
Okay.
Mention the blogs you read, podcasts, any conferences you follow.
Right.
Maybe even talk about a side project that's pushing your skills further.
So, like, if I'm an avid listener of a certain, Grammy Award-winning podcast,
There you go.
I should definitely mention that.
Absolutely. It shows you're engaged.
Right.
You're part of the community and you're eager to stay ahead of the curve.
Right, yeah. Like, you could be the go-to expert for designing, I don't know, secure communication protocols. but for self-driving cars.
Exactly.
Or like developing the next generation of brain-computer interfaces.
It's amazing stuff.
That's wild.
And as you gain experience, there's also the potential to move into leadership roles.
Oh, okay.
Maybe manage teams of engineers.
Right.
Or even starting your own company.
So you could go from like debugging code in the trenches to leading a whole team of developers to like launching some revolutionary new product.
It's all possible.
That's the dream. That's so cool.
And what I love about RoleCatcher is they provide that guidance and those resources to help you navigate all these different possibilities from, crafting that compelling resume to acing those interviews to understanding the broader industry landscape.
Okay, yeah, it sounds like they've really thought of everything.
They really have.
We've covered so much ground today.
We have.
From the nitty-gritty of those technical questions to like those broader career path possibilities.
A big field.
I have to say, I feel, much more prepared and honestly kind of excited about the world of embedded systems design.
Me too. It's a field that's just, like we said, constantly evolving.
Yeah.
Endless opportunities for innovation and growth.
It's like being at the forefront of like a technological revolution.
It really is.
Where you have the power to actually shape the future.
And with the right tools and guidance, like what RoleCatcher provides,
right,
anyone with the passion and the drive can thrive in this field.
That's awesome. Well said.
So, to wrap up, if you're even remotely curious about embedded systems design, I highly encourage you to go check out RoleCatcher.
Yes.
Their guides and those like AI-powered tools really are game changers.
Absolutely.
Whether you're, just starting out or looking to level up your career.
It's like having a secret weapon.
Yeah.
In your back pocket.
A secret weapon ready to help you unlock your full potential.
There you go.
I like that. And with that, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the world of embedded systems design interviews. Until next time, keep that curiosity buzzing, and remember, the future is coded by people like you.